started in just a minute. All right, so here we are, it's 1 o'clock. I'm going to open up the meeting in just a minute. Thank you all for joining again, and welcome to a continuing ed series, if you will, on the Total Wellness Program from Safe Harbor Health. We're going to keep with the theme of short and sweet, and the less is more. We're going to take this in steps, give you chunks of it to digest so that you can be effective, more effective going out in the field. So we taught you the pitch last time. We taught you some power statements to take out to the field and go get, asked you in return to go get a census. And I see Jim on the call, so thank you for being here.
How's it going, brother?
You're one of the people that took our advice. You know, you met us, you did your due diligence, came up with a pitch, went out and came back with a census. So we appreciate that. And this is basically to show what that next step is, what's going to happen after you've submitted the census. So you went out, you showed the video, or you used our power statements in your own pitch to position the wellness program, the Total Wellness Program. You got them interested. Of course, they're interested in saving money as an employer, offering added employee benefits that won't cost their employees extra money. But now there's the heavy lifting. What does that mean for their company? So what we want to show you today is what to do once you get the census back, how to give it to us so that we can effectively turn it around to you in 24 to 72 hours and provide you with the tools you'll need to go back one more time and say, I told you this was a good idea, and here's why. We give you as much or as little as you want to use. You don't have to use our approach. It does work, of course. We believe we've been very effective at engaging others into the program, but you might have your own way of doing things, and Safe Harbor is just a piece, but we want to make sure we give you some value here as you're going back to present the chronic disease and preventive wellness membership, what it entails, and how to effectively engage so we can get that 75% plus participation that we average within our groups. So, you know, when we look at the agenda today, we're going to go over 3 areas. The employer savings proposal and the employer savings estimate, and then the actual paperwork that you transact in order to open up a new group, if you will, with Safe Harbor Health. And I don't want you to think this is a cumbersome process, because it's not. We're very happy to say that all of what we do is available on paper if you'd like to transact that way, and many agents do the first time they do business with us. They just prefer to put some ink to paper when possible. I know COVID doesn't allow that always, but we are getting back to semi-normal and many more in-person meetings than previously. So a lot of agents will take out paper forms to their clients, but if that's not possible, or if it's not your preferred way to do business, you can get an electronic app from us, and we're going to show you what that looks like and how easily you can transact on just your cell phone. Even my outdated, I forget, my kids have all the new ones, but I think mine's like an iPhone 7 or 8, and it is what it is. It still works, so that was the test engine for me was, hey, if it still works on my old phone, we should be good to go as far as technology is concerned. So without further ado, like I said, we will keep these short. I'm just going to mute everyone for a second, and we'll ask that we hold the questions to the end. I'll be happy to answer anything you might have. I'm going to show you the census. I know you've all seen this. This is our standard form, and I'll try to make this easier to see here. And I am sharing, correct, Jim? You can, okay, perfect. You can see that screen there. This is our regular census, so we're not asking for a whole bunch of heavy lifting. What you have is pretty much a standard healthcare census, first name, last name, email, date of birth, zip code. Then we get into some payroll information that we need, and this is because you know, Safe Harbor operates on a tax savings because the money that goes in is Section 125 eligible, and the employer and employee save money that way. We need to know how they file their taxes so we can equate that FICA tax plus federal and state income tax savings accurately. So what does that look like? Of course, that's how they file their taxes, what their annual salary is, where they work, and what dependents they claim, and pre-tax deductions that they have on their paychecks. You can get this information very simply by getting a copy of their most recent census or roster, or however the HR department terms their group census, and you add that to a quarterly or year-to-date payroll report. Two things that are generally easy to obtain with a little bit of prying into the HR department and the payroll contact. The agent does a little bit of lifting to combine those two forms into the spreadsheet, but I can promise you the end results speak for themselves. You folks will all sell more. You folks will all have a higher participation, and it's going to drive your business into that next level, and that's what the Total Wellness Program is doing for our current partners right now. So this is what the Census Complete will look like. There's no blanks. Everything's filled in. Even if it's a zero, it's filled in. This allows us to run the automated quoting system. So when we get good information, we can get it back to you really, really fast. People have asked about scalability. We're happy to do the groups of 5, 10, or this one to keep short. I show 15 members. Those are great. We write them every week, and we're happy to take that business. But we can do the hundreds and the thousands and the tens of thousands of employees, and we can do it effectively because of the technology behind Safe Harbor. This is the heaviest lifting of the entire program. Once we have a census, the enrollment for the employer can be paperless. The enrollment for the employees can be paperless, both of which take very little time to complete. And this right here, folks, is what makes it all possible. So getting these pieces of information accurately over to us will get you all the best results in the end. So we take this healthcare census and we run it into our program. So what we're looking at is you've had the first meeting here, you got their interest, you collected the census. Now we're headed towards that asking for the close on the employer and asking to have permission to go meet their employees individually, right? So what do we arm you with? We're going to give you two pieces that really sum it up. Oh, and I just hit the pause button by accident, so hold on one second. There we go. This is the shortest way that we can show significant impact for any size group. This is effective for HR departments. This is effective for CFOs and owners because it really hits on all the important pieces. On 15 eligible employees in our example, $175,000 in premiums will now run through Section 125 and avoid taxes. What does that mean? That means $8,000 in cash flow will stay in the business's operating account because it won't be sucked out by the state, federal tax authorities for FICA and federal and state income taxes. Because this is a qualified Section 125 program, every dollar is exempt from that. It averages $533 per employee in this group of 15. So right here, we back up the power statement that the employer is going to save money on every employee that it participates, and it's going to be north of $500 per year on average. And to the HR departments that might be worried more about the benefit than the actual savings to the employer, of course, because that's really their job as the HR director or HR person is to look out for employees and provide the best possible benefits. This same group's going to be adding almost $30,000 in employee benefits without take-home pay change. They will not reduce their take-home pay in order to get these benefits. This is going to be the tax savings from doing the qualified medical services that are available through the Safe Harbor Total Wellness Program. And that's going to be $2,000. So on this group, it's actually quite above our advertised average of $1,800 a year. This group was closer to $2,000 per person, average increase in benefits that doesn't change their take-home pay. So very powerful, very short, and excuse me, just pulled that one out of place. But I'll show that in just a second. But as you scroll down here, it also sets up the next steps for you. So it gives you a little bit of verbiage to help you along, especially in the beginning when you haven't done this before. It says, obviously we're happy to have quoted this for you. The next step would be to strategize the open enrollment. And to do so, we collect our group paperwork. So we really do step right to the next part in asking for the business. And if I can go find this one, there we go. The savings proposal. This can be shown before or after. That really is up to you and your preference, your style. But what it is the proposal behind the numbers that we just went over. So when we go through, it's a reminder of our value proposition. Obviously, it's a preventive care and chronic disease membership that was built to help employers connect employees to better healthcare information and services. And what can we guarantee? We guarantee FICA tax savings to the employer and better benefit availability and better take-home pay or better take-home benefits to the employee. A look at the closer, this goes into the exact tax savings for an employer. It's going to show them exactly how we got to that $533 average, I believe it was, on this group. And then it just ends with a nice any questions so you can clear up any confusion on the program or how it works. So I know I went through that very quickly, but again, it's a nice cover page customized to the group. It's a reminder of the value proposition in the presentation that you showed the employer the first time that got them interested. It's got a reminder on how we get to the math and the guaranteed savings. The fact that this is, a next payroll cycle savings. If you pay your employees weekly, the first payroll run after the effective date of the total wellness program, you will begin to see the savings of our program. And we back that up on our welcome calls, often taking place after the group has an effective date. You can check your payroll reports during our quarterly true-up and see that, yep, there's immediate FICA tax savings available right there, and it backs up the value proposition that we promised. And the employees, of course, also feel it immediately because they did purchase the supplemental benefits, or they did see a little bit of increase in their take-home pay, or they're putting a contribution to their 401k, or whichever avenue they chose to take advantage of that tax savings. It's up to them, really. So they see that benefit, of course. So after that, really, we're asking for the business. You're saying, this makes sense. Here's the exact numbers. Is it okay if I go and offer this to your employees? Because remember, there's no cost. We don't ask for any money up front. There are no setup fees. We do have an admin fee, obviously. We charge it through the payroll deductions to the employees so they can pay their portion. And we have a $30 per employee per month admin fee to the employer, but they still, of course, net a savings, in this example, of $533 per month. So in essence, or per year rather, excuse me. So in essence, they're saving a little over $800. They're paying us a fee, and they're still saving the $533 that's left over. It's a win for everyone. That is where we're asking for the business, and we're showing them our our enrollment paperwork. And I have to go to my Gmail real fast to get something that just came through to me. Excuse me. You can all see my inbox, nothing up my sleeve. Here we are. Here's an example of a group that has been set up. So the group is going to send in paperwork to us. It's 3 forms. There is the client service agreement. This is simply between Safe Harbor Health and the company implementing the program. That says Safe Harbor is the administrator and compliance specialist for the program. We're going to make sure it's implemented properly. We're going to make sure it's tracked and compliant. And we're going to provide all the documentation behind that when necessary and annually upon renewal to the employees and, the employer and their employees. We have an adoption agreement. This is actually the customizable document where you get to, obviously the basic company information, but you get to build the self-insured medical expense reimbursement program that backs the total wellness program. We help the employer choose how they'd like to administer it. We help them fill this out. This is also available electronically. And then there is the EFT form, a very standard bank form. That is how we draw our fees for our service. We implement a group, say they were effective on April 1st. Many of them will be running their first payrolls right now. They will see that immediate FICA tax savings. That'll be in their general account and increase their bank balance, and we won't bill them until May 15th. So they're going to run 6 payroll cycles, and then they're going to pay us a 1-month fee. So it's a net savings to the employer immediately, no upfront costs. I know I've said that, but I do like to make sure that we get that across. And then this is the enrollment site, the group itself. So this is a pretend enrollment site for our purposes to demonstrate it to you folks. But what it is the Safe Harbor opt-in form. This will be a custom web link for every group. You'll see the logo change as the groups change. But this is the Safe Harbor enrollment form. How easy is it to sign up? Well, if you click Enroll Now, it's going to load the next page. You're going to see opt-in or waive, so you can collect your opt-ins, which we do have a north of 75% participation. We're very proud of that. But we do need a waiver for everyone that does not want to participate. You can do both from this enrollment page. So in this case, I want to opt in. Yes, I'd like to take the program. Here's what's required. You're going to go through and just put in your information. This will use my personal information. Now you all know my home address and email. No problem, because most of you probably do anyways. You're going to scroll down, and if there's any red dots you need to fill in, I will say on this one I'm going to pretend to be single, so we don't need to fill in dependent information even if it has red dots. Because I am single, the system will take care of that. And then you see a series of questions, very simple. Yes, I'd like to participate in the wellness program. And then every answer has to be yes, so it's the only option. They're going to read and make sure they understand each question about the Section 125 and about enrollment and how it reduces taxable income. Everybody understands they're paying an administrative fee, but they're still saving money. That's the promise of the program, of course. And then you're going to comply. Of course, I'm going to comply with the minimum requirements. We all know everybody that enrolls must use a minimum of 4 qualified medical services through our application to remain eligible for the reimbursements. The reimbursements are the money you receive back that makes this program all a net savings to you. So everyone wants to make sure they fulfill those. You're going to click this small box because you do on every electronic application that says you understand everything you just read and agreed to. And then you're going to choose how you want to deliver it. It'll deliver to a cell phone in a text message, or it'll deliver in an email. That email will say your application is ready, or that text message will literally, you'll touch a link and it will open the application on your page. What you're going to see is these questions summarized. You're going to see a terms and agreement like every online application has. And you're going to be asked to agree, sign your finger with your name with your finger, and hit submit, and it's going to instantly enroll you in the program. It is that easy. It is a very quick process. What happens live is you send it out. It's actually going to send me an error message because I didn't fill in relationships here because it put in an address, but I think you all get the point. It's a very simple web-based application where every employer group will have its own website available. Every broker will have their own enrollment site for their customers. The clients can fill out the group paperwork online through you, and then the individual employees can opt in or opt out through either a text message or an email that they receive. Very, very simple. So that's really the focus of today's presentation, and what I wanted to show you all is what to expect back from us. You're going to get that employer savings estimate, which is the one page, which is really the cream. That's the dollars, what it means to the employer, what it means to each employee. You're also going to get, and I apologize, it's probably the most important for you all, is a reserve estimate. I'm getting this real quick here. Spreadsheet, where are you? Oh, there you are. Spreadsheet, a Partner Reserve Spreadsheet. So this is the estimated tax savings for everyone that is participating. So pardon me for 1 second. There we go. Now I'll make it big enough for you to see. And what you'll see is 4 categories. What is their eligibility? So are they a single or are they a family eligible program? you're going to see the per paycheck reserve amount. So this is the estimated tax savings that every employee that you gave us information on would be eligible for if they say yes to the program. So Johnny Baker is a single eligible. This was a hourly job, so this was someone earning in the $15 to $18 an hour range, working somewhere between 30 and 40 hours. So somewhere in the $28,000 to $37,000 in income range. And they still had a $29 per week savings, over $125 a month, that they could spend on benefits and not change their take-home pay. So that's what this tells you. It tells you the per paycheck amount, what it means monthly or yearly, because you all do different things for a living, whether you represent Colonial Combined or Aflac selling supplementals, or you do 401k through one of the investment firms, or you're just out there offering the wellness program and a gross up in wages to every person. This is the valuable information you need to quote whatever products you all are bringing to the table. So the most popular approach in the supplement world, for instance, that we've seen people have success with, if it's a $29 per paycheck reserve, they're going to spend $26 to $27 of that money on their supplemental benefits, and then they're going to leave $2 or $3 a week on the table that goes back into their paycheck. So their closing approach is, hey, what you qualified for if you participate in this wellness program would mean you can have accident, critical illness, and hospital indemnity insurance, and you can do so and still have $3 more in every paycheck. Takes away the objection of I don't want to spend any money. It spends it up to what they had, or right around what they had, and left a little bit. And to us, we've seen that those are the groups that have the highest participation numbers. So I'm going to unmute. If anybody would like to ask questions, this is a great time to jump in. I can reopen any of the forms that we went over, but what can I answer for you folks?
On the enrollment application with the businesses, and this is a question we've already addressed, but I want to make sure it's clear for anybody else that didn't pick up on it. Question number 7 notes that it asks the question, and you have to say yes to it, of course, that you are on a payroll and you're partaking in their health insurance. But that's not necessarily the case. You can have mass health. You can have your own individual insurance and still qualify accordingly.
Yes, very good point, Jim. You're exactly right. They just have to have health insurance as long as it's not Medicaid. Those are the only folks, unfortunately, compliantly, we can't accept into the program. So it's not that we don't want to do it. It's that they're not allowed to participate by rule. So you're exactly right. The question could be a little more vague, and I believe on the online, because what I did was pull up one of our PDFs, and I'm sure you, like I said, many people use the paper forms the first time around or receive the paper forms as their first glimpse of it. I believe on the online form it's worded slightly different because we have an updated version for that exact reason. It's a little vague where it could say, any qualifying health insurance, which is any plan excluding Medicaid, would be the, I guess, legal answer. It's a long and drawn out legal answer.
I just want to make sure, because I already got that with you. We've already reviewed a couple of things like that, but I don't want anybody else to have that misnomer or misinterpretation of something like that.
No, that's great. It's just like the salary reduction. The fact that we make people acknowledge that this is Section 125, and what that means is reduces your federal taxable wages, which is, in my opinion, a good thing. You're taking back some of your tax money and reinvesting it directly in yourself, however you choose to. I feel like that's one of the freedoms the program offers that is one of the biggest benefits. Don't be shy. Anyone else? I see a lot of people that remuted after I unmuted.
Oh, really? It's you and me, Ryan. It's you and me, dude.
Hey, I'm fine with that, Jim. You're doing great. We appreciate it. The bottom line is that we want questions answered, and you're someone out there doing it, daily. So getting the feedback from what's happening in those meetings is invaluable to Safe Harbor.
Well,
I mean, we wanna,
inherently, it's only going to, propagate some growth, because ultimately there's a lot of opportunities here. Doesn't matter what the sector is. Help is help, especially in this environment. 2021 is going to be a whole different animal versus last year. And if it's not approached properly and with diligence, then you might as well throw in the towel.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. We definitely had more time to plan than we had hoped for. Due to the pandemic, we wanted to be more out in the field, but the planning really allows us to execute so much more efficiently. And we have everything in place now that, like I said, whether it's a group of 15 or 500, you're going to get the same experience. It's going to be 2 to 3 days at max for you to get a proposal back. The proposals will look pretty much the same. I mean, we have a few different presentations, but that's the first meeting. We have one PowerPoint that's, I think it's around 20 pages long. That one is more for the larger organizations. Then we have a pared down version that's 8 pages or 9 pages long for the smaller groups that you can kind of get through it a little bit shorter. We find that if there's less than 25 enrolled in the program or less than 25 being presented, you can close that in 1 to 2 meetings. The groups 25 plus will take the 2 to 5 meeting range. And then, of course, as you get over a few hundred employees, it could be a 2-year process and 30 meetings. Who knows? But, it's the bottom line is we're here to partner with you with, again, as little or as much as you need from us is what we want to supply. So use the material if you like it. Don't use it if you don't want to. But just let us know how we can better serve you by answering these questions and coming on and asking your questions is the only way we're going to get better and better at it.
Excellent. I'll grab you after because I have a couple of individual questions myself, and we'll coordinate on those.
Awesome.
All right, Ryan.
Anyone else? One more time. All right, everybody. Thanks again. I'll see you.
Take care, Ryan. Thanks, man.